Remember, you want to confront slavery today? Guess what? It's here right now. 85,000 illegal alien children are gone, just lost in the interior of the United States. The federal government has no idea what's going on. The U.S. has lost track of them. So 85,000 child slaves are in the interiors of America. So ladies and gentlemen, we still have slavery in America. And let me tell you something. This did not just happen by accident. This happened by design. This is called human trafficking, and it's big money, not just for the cartels. These kids are in sex trafficking all over the country, all over the world. 85,000 children. It's disgusting. So let's get into the presentation. The LA mansion tax, a complete failure after 1 month, folks. LA's mansion tax, grounded the city's luxury real estate market to a halt. Only 2 homes priced over $5 million sold in April, and 126 sales went through in March. What do you think was going to happen? Measure ULA, a tax on high-end properties passed by Los Angeles voters in 2022. It was slipped in the back door, has flopped after just 1 month of operation, bringing sales of luxury homes to a halt, while raising, little money for affordable housing, its intended goal. The 2 homes that sold, one in Brentwood and one in Venice. The one in Brentwood sold for $5.7 million, and the one in Venice sold for $7.5 million, which raised over $500,000 for the homeless prevention program. We'll see if that money gets there. We'll talk about that at the end. So last fall, LA voters approved a measure known as the mansion tax. It was slid through the back door, formerly referred to as United for Housing LA, or ULA, to fund affordable housing. And I'm all for affordable housing. I do some contract work in it right now, and provide, resources to tenants for risk and homelessness. That's according to the Los Angeles Office of Finance. But ever since it went into effect, the luxury home sales have stalled out in the city, folks. And I have talked about this measure in previous videos. I got ahead of it early on, and I try to raise awareness. So just to recap, the measure ULA will require the city to collect a 4% tax on sales over $5 million and a 5.5% sales tax on sales of properties worth $10 million or more. It passed with nearly 60% of the vote in November 2022. Like I said, they didn't know what was in it. So the money to be collected through Measure ULA's transfer tax, some $900 million per year, the projection, will be used to subsidize housing, preserve affordable homes, guarantee counsel to tenants, and in eviction court, let's take those landlords home, places, and subsidize other progressive priorities. That's according to the Bloomberg News. I got some things to say at the end real quick about this. So, however, right now, in April, wealthy homeowners rushed before the April 1st deadline to sell their home when the tax began April 1st. And, they pulled their home off the market thereafter, meaning that the luxury real estate market has collapsed, ladies and gentlemen, in Los Angeles, and the city has collected essentially no revenue for affordable housing. And there you go. Trying to do wealth transfer again. Guess what? It doesn't work. So the Los Angeles Times reported Friday, that information. Then in March, when the luxury market reached the peak of its frenzy, there were about 126 homes and condo sales above $5 million in the city of Los Angeles. That's according to the MLS Multiple Listing Service. So in April, once the Measure ULA took effect, there were only two sales. So, like I said, there was one in Brentwood and, one in the lovely city of Venice Beach. Used to be one of my favorite places to go. I think there's some hope there, but that's another discussion for another day. So together with those 2 sales, they raised $528,000 for the city use of affordable housing and homeless prevention programs. So far, that's it. So, right now, if I live in those areas, many luxury homeowners are holding on to their properties as they wait out 2 lawsuits, which are currently going against the city in hopes to get ULA thrown out. Other sellers are trying to find loopholes in the measure, including, selling a single property as smaller, cheaper properties, while some are, taking the broker's fees out of the sales price so it falls below that threshold, which is a nice thing to do. I'm all for that. So while the tax originally projected $900 million a year in revenue for the city based on 2021 and 2022 sales data, they looked at the sales data. These estimates have been revised down to $672 million. But for now, the new mayor, Karen Bass, is hedging her bets, ladies and gentlemen, putting forward a city budget that only projects $150 million for the program. That's it. So the two lawsuits that I talked about earlier, the Howard Taxpayer Association is suing the city of Los Angeles over the measure ULA, arguing that it's unconstitutional, and also the Apartment Associations of Los Angeles has a lawsuit that is pending. But I would say that, we'll see what happens with these lawsuits. However, I think something to keep in mind is the weak performance of the tax thus far may be an even more effective challenge to this. Whoever sat in the room and came up with this idea is just not thinking long term. When you do this to people that are creating jobs in this country, that have generational wealth, and let's say the LA area, have companies, and now what's going to happen? They're not going to sell their house. They're going to pass it down to their heirs. They're not going to sell, and you're going to lose revenue in the state. It's just stupid business. And listen, I'm not going to get on my soapbox in this, but part of this channel was I'm trying to do things in homelessness, and I have a nice budget. And I've reached out to people in Venice Council, other city council members, and I've just met with someone last week, and it's incredible. Bottom line is they don't want to solve the problem. They got nice six-figure salaries. Just think, if we solve the problem, Tim, we're going to lose our job. What do you think is going to happen with this? You think that money's actually going to go, and other people have talked about this, and we have precedent for this, is actually going to go for affordable housing? I'm in the affordable housing game. I play. I have a contract, and I'm all for it in the right areas, all for affordable housing. But this is just a wrong approach. It's a short-sighted, myopic approach, and a lot of times this money doesn't get appropriated for affordable housing. So, hey, I'll put on the brakes. We'll see what happens with this specific bill. But I'm just saying my experience in trying to help out and get things going, I've been in a standstill right now. People are closing the door on my face. They don't want to talk to me. They don't want to go on video. Of course not. And I just talked to a restaurant owner right across from the street of the 8500 Caruso building. Beautiful building. He's a wonderful developer. He would have been a great mayor, Rick Caruso. And right across the street, one of my favorite restaurants, there's a homeless camp. And a couple major stations, Fox News, even a liberal station, wanted to interview her because she raised holy hell. And guess what they did? She's afraid to go on these stations because she doesn't want to upset city officials. But she's worried about patrons getting injured, and there's drug use going on in front of her restaurant. And the restaurant was still packed, by the way. So it's just terrible. And they're not doing anything about it right now except shuffling these people around. And I'm just telling you, in my experience in this, I'm going to continue to fight the fight and start speaking in hotels. They don't want my money. They don't want me to get involved. And I'm still going to try. I have a lead with her and some other people, and I'm meeting at a hotel with. But this is a travesty what's going on. And I just think it's a short-sighted way to say, well, we'll have a mansion tax and collect more money for affordable housing. And, the precedent is a lot of this money gets stolen and it's not used for its intended purpose. So the mansion tax, short term here, it's been a disaster.